We love a good argument, right? Android or Apple? I'd go with Apple. Hellman's or Dukes? All right, what sounds better? Banjo or guitar? I'd probably go with guitar, actually. Look, we love a good argument. John chapter 7 is full of arguments. People are arguing, pushing and pulling back and forth, trying to decide what they think about Jesus. And I would love for you to read it this week. We'll discuss it on Wednesday, and pay attention to all the different characters in this argument and just think, well, which one of these characters, which one of these persons would I be? Where would I land on this? And how does Jesus answer each of those people to show he really speaks for God with authority from God and is challenging you to respond to him as you would respond to God? Look at John chapter 7. The first characters we get are Jesus' brothers. So John chapter 7, verse 1, after this Jesus went about in Galilee. He would not go about in Judea because the Jews were seeking to kill him. He had stirred up so much controversy, there were some places he couldn't even go. And his brothers were getting ready to go to that area. Verse 2. Now the Jews' feast of the booths was at hand. This was their remembrance of that time after God set them free from Egypt. They left their homes and they were out in the wilderness. They had to make camp, these temporary shelters, so they would reenact this. Now the Jews' feast of booths was at hand, so his brothers said to him, "Leave here and go to Judea, that your disciples also may see the works you are doing. For no one works in secret if he seeks to be known openly, and if you do these things, show yourself to the world, for not even his brothers believed in him." So, do you find yourself kind of in those brothers' shoes? You're like, yeah, we're pretty familiar with this Jesus, and we're not convinced he's all he says he is. How about you come and show everybody what you got, right? Prove it to us. Do you kind of land in that category like his brothers? Later on, Jesus shows up at the feast, and it says, after his brothers had gone to the feast, he went publicly, but not publicly, but in private. The Jews were looking for him at the feast, saying, "Where is he?" And there was much muttering about him among the people. Some said, "He's a good man." Others said, "No, he's leading people astray." Yet for fear of the Jews, no one spoke openly. So there's like the crowd of people that are like landing in different places. He's a good man. Have you had that idea about Jesus? He's a good man. He has good teaching. We should follow his moral teachings. He's a good man. Others were like, no, he's leading people astray. Do you land in that category where you feel like, yeah, these wackos that say Jesus is the only way to be saved, that's kind of judgmental? Do you find yourself pulled that direction? You're concerned about people that are way overboard, sort of passionate about following Jesus. Middle of the feast, Jesus went up into the temple and began teaching, and the Jews marveled, saying, "How is it this man has learning when he's never studied?" So he hadn't done the whole 4-year college degree, 8-year master's, doctorate. He hadn't done the things that everybody was used to people doing that gave them like status, so that people should listen to them. I wonder, have you ever paid close enough attention to the things Jesus said to marvel, to be blown away? Some people think that Jesus is boring, but if you read the stories, the people who were face to face with Jesus were always blown away. Have you ever marveled? Have you ever been blown away at the things Jesus taught? And then Jesus begins to give specific answers. He answers his brothers. He answers these people that are marveling. He even answers the leaders later on when they confront him. And by the end of the chapter, he's even had to give an answer to a bunch of soldiers or a bunch of officers that are sent to arrest him. He has to give an answer to every single one of these people. People that are outraged and offended, people that are apathetic, people that are concerned he's going to shoulder in on their position of authority, people who are just desperately seeking to find out if he's the real deal. So read chapter 7, the push and pull, all these different arguments where Jesus gives an answer, and just listen carefully to Jesus' answer and see how he would answer you.